and introducing a lot of best practices. Well, where did we find her? She came to us from Danbury, Connecticut, where she'd been for about 5 years as Director of Finance and Human Resources, and before that she'd been about 4 years in Stamford, Connecticut. But before that, she was for 10 years in New York City, and she worked there, got her start, I think, as a financial analyst after getting her master's in public administration from Columbia University. And she went to work for the city of New York, and I think it was in 1994, there was a new mayor, Rudy Giuliani, and he picked her out, and she did a number of things for him, including she became his lobbyist before the city council of the city of New York. And her final position there, she was Executive Deputy Director of Infrastructure, Regulatory, and Community Services. As I said, she grew up in Westchester County, northern Westchester. She's a graduate of the State University of New York at Plattsburgh. Anyone know what Plattsburgh is? I see a few hands out there. If you don't know what Plattsburgh is, think Montreal, Canada. Plattsburgh is like a strong slap shot from the Canadian border, basically. She's married to the charming Robert Diorio, if you've not met him. He's a wonderful gentleman, her husband. And finally, I just want to conclude by saying Dena Diorio has a great sense of timing. She was not in Mecklenburg County for Hurricane Hugo, and she left New York before Hurricane Sandy. Dena Diorio, our new county manager, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark, for that very nice introduction, and thank you, Rotary Club of Charlotte, for inviting me to speak today. As Dumont indicated, I'm new in this role since January 1st, but I've been here in this role for about 3.5 months. And the role of county manager, I see it really as threefold. One is you have to make sure that your board is happy all the time. So we try to do that every chance we get. Community engagement, spending as much time with the community as I can, and I've done a lot of that in the last 3.5 months. And the final thing is really to manage a $1.7 billion organization with 5,000 employees. And part of my responsibility in managing that organization is to really highlight a lot of the great work that the county does. I don't think that we get a lot of credit for all the great work we do and the people that we serve. And Mecklenburg County government and the Charlotte Rotary have a lot more in common than you might think. We both heed the call to help our community, focusing mostly on needy individuals and families in our community. Mecklenburg County is a human services organization that is committed to fighting the battle against illiteracy, poverty, and homelessness, and we recognize that it truly does take a village. So first, I want to thank you Rotarians for your dedicated service to our community. As a human services organization, we have a vested interest in improving economic disparity in our community. A recent article in the New York Times described the result of a study that shows Charlotte, as well as other cities in the Southeast, rank low in income mobility. The study suggests that if you grow up in poverty in Charlotte, your chances of moving up the income ladder are low. Mecklenburg County is taking a hard look at its human service and social services program with an eye towards a real consolidated human services agency. As part of its recently adopted strategic agenda, the Board of County Commissioners has placed the development of a human services strategic plan as a top priority. The board has two objectives for the next 18 months. First, establishing the goals and objectives of a strategic plan for human services. And second, to consider options for the governance of Mecklenburg County's consolidated human services agency. Achieving these objectives could significantly change the way Mecklenburg County delivers services to those most in need in this community. It could streamline the delivery of those services, make services more accessible, and hopefully result in better outcomes for these individuals and families. The strategic agenda also identified action steps that can be taken to help meet these two objectives. One is to seek more opportunities to involve and integrate human service departments in collaborative service delivery. And second, involve more human service departments in the coordinated intake and assessment within the homeless services network. The coordinated intake and assessment process is being implemented in 2014 and will result in a standardized process for assessing consumer need, eligibility, and priority for various services and programs. Considered a best practice, this process connects households to services faster, reduces new entries to homelessness, improves data collection, and will provide accurate information on the types of assistance residents need. It is expected that 20,000 coordinated assessments will take place each year once the program is fully operational. Mecklenburg County, in collaboration with its dedicated partners, has already made significant progress in eradicating homelessness in our community. One key initiative was the development of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Coalition for Housing, a community-based board appointed to implement the Charlotte-Mecklenburg 10-year plan to end and prevent homelessness. When it was started in 2006 by the Board of County Commissioners and the Charlotte City Council, our county had more than 5,000 people without a place to live. Recently, in partnership with the City of Charlotte and UNC Charlotte, we released the results of our point-in-time count report. This survey provides a snapshot of our homeless population by taking a physical count on a specific day. This year, that was January 29. While we are a long way from eradicating homelessness completely, we are happy to report a 17% decrease in the homeless population over last year, with a total count of 2,014 people, a vast improvement since 2006. In addition to the work of the coalition, several county programs have helped get people off the streets, out of shelters, and into permanent housing. This year, we started a program called MECFUSE, a housing program for chronically homeless men and women who have been frequent users of our jails, emergency rooms, street camps, and shelters. The FUSE in MECFUSE stands for Frequent User in System Engagement. In order to qualify, clients must have had 4 or more jail admissions in the last 5 years, have 4 or more shelter admissions within the last 5 years, are homeless without a permanent residence, are able to live independently, and are a U.S. citizen or legal resident. MECFUSE is a key component of our jail diversion continuum and helps clients stay in stable, affordable apartments and reduces the cost associated with the criminal justice system. Appropriate services are provided specific to their service needs. Mecklenburg County funds the program, which is ably run by the Urban Ministry Center, and other important partners include the Men's Shelter of Charlotte, Salvation Army Center of Hope, Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, Criminal Justice Services, the Provided Services Organization, and the Office of the Public Defender. We have placed 28 people in housing units so far this year. I am proud to announce that the MECFUSE program won the award for Project of the Year at the Corporation for Supportive Housing Conference in March. In describing why MECFUSE received the award, conference officials said the program is being recognized for exceptional and efficient design and implementation. This is just one example of how the county, in collaboration with the community, creates the village needed to move the needle on improving people's lives. Another county program called Shelter Plus Care provides ongoing rental subsidies to homeless individuals and families with disabilities. The program, funded by the Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, provides supportive services like mental health, substance abuse treatment, job placement, and child care. We have been able to increase the number of individuals and families served over the past few years, which we believe helped get us to achieve the lower point-in-time homeless population count. More and more, the community and the county are adopting a housing first or a rapid rehousing strategy, which means that we try to get someone into housing as soon as possible, even if we have not resolved all the social and economic problems that exist for that individual. This is a shift from how we used to provide services, where we try to solve the problems first and find housing later. What we have found, and the research shows, that by providing stable housing first and wrapping the services around the individual or family results in better outcomes and hopefully can reduce the likelihood that someone becomes homeless again. Knowing the Rotary Club's commitment to military veterans, one of the areas we need to focus on together is the rise in homelessness among veterans. While it is just a small increase, it is a troubling statistic that we must confront before it becomes an alarming trend. Mecklenburg County's Veteran Services Office assists veterans with disability claims and other benefits and works closely with Charlotte Bridge, a program that helps vets transition from military to civilian life. We have actively pursued and received more than 100 federally funded VASH vouchers to provide housing assistance and services to homeless veterans. A coordinated program between the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Department of Veterans Affairs, VASH, which stands for the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing Program, combines rental assistance, case management, and clinical services to assist veterans transition to civilian life. We know there is more that needs to be done, but with the efforts of service groups like the Rotary of Charlotte and your nonprofit beneficiaries, I know we will see continued improvement. Again, it takes a village, and I'm proud to be part of yours. In addition to the commitment to community services, Charlotte Rotary is interested in improving the business and economic climate of our county. We all know that the economy is getting stronger and the unemployment rate is going down. Having said that, we also know that many in our county have not rebounded from the recession and that more jobs are needed to ensure economic prosperity for everybody. Unemployment in Mecklenburg County dropped from nearly 12% in 2009 to around 7% now, with the addition of more than 50,000 new jobs. As you know, the county, in collaboration with the City of Charlotte, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Charlotte Regional Partnership, have been successful in facilitating corporate relocations of several major companies. We have successfully marketed our brand, and I'm confident that we will continue to do so. Economic development is a key focus of Mecklenburg County and the Board of County Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners is currently evaluating its role in the economic development arena and has made this a priority also in its recently adopted strategic agenda. There are 3 broad goals the board is looking to achieve in the economic development space: growing jobs and reducing unemployment, improving economic equality, and expanding the commercial and business tax base to reduce the tax burden on residential property owners. Key action steps over the next 18 months include assessing our current business investment grant program for effectiveness, identifying and addressing onerous barriers, building and expanding successful partnerships, and providing support for local businesses. The county wants to be intentional about its economic development activities and use its resources to move individuals from dependence to self-sufficiency through the creation of jobs at all wage and income levels. We also want to be able to track the impact of these activities on our residents. But it's not just big businesses we want. We are actively seeking ways to help small business. Small businesses are essential to a vibrant, diverse economy and generate jobs that provide long-term economic growth. Small businesses provide employment opportunities that reach a broad spectrum of skills and abilities. To that end, in 2013, the Board of County Commissioners created the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Advisory Board. It's a citizen advisory board tasked with informing the board about the latest developments in the small business community, regulations that hamper small business creation and expansion, and how the county can assist in this growing important part of our economy. The advisory board is comprised of 11 members and includes 1 member from the City of Charlotte's Business Advisory Board. The advisory board has been extremely busy over the past year and has participated in Mecklenburg County Code Enforcement's Customer Service Task Force, providing a small business perspective in that process. The advisory board is also looking at administering a survey of small businesses to gauge concerns regarding code enforcement, taxes, permitting, and zoning issues. As many of you are aware, the county has launched an initiative to improve the efficiency of our building permit and code enforcement processes. We have received feedback from all sectors of the community that the process is confusing, takes too long, and hurts one's ability to execute projects and create needed jobs in our community. The county is working jointly with the City of Charlotte to analyze these processes, and we are working with industry groups and stakeholders to identify ways to improve customer service and communication. However, while we want to streamline and eliminate unnecessary barriers that make the process cumbersome, this requires striking a balance, as we will not sacrifice public safety or ignore our regulatory responsibilities in the name of customer service. So as you can see, the county is working hard to address the issues of mutual concern. As I said earlier, we are grateful for our community partners like the Rotary Club of Charlotte for helping us work toward these goals. Thank you for having me today, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
No, you already shut up.
All right, then. Thank you. No questions? Yes, Tony, thanks.
What was the education budget?